I'm recording. Recording in progress. Okay, so 12-month lead generation plan. So today our goal, we're going to go through some marketing basics, which you'll hear me say marketing and lead gen today. They're basically synonymous is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to go through each month, just different ideas, creative things that you can be sending out, whether that's via email, mailer, doing a pop-by social post, or even just doing calls or texts as well. So we're going to be talking more like strategy. Now, in your packets, there's a lot of places for y'all to take notes, and then I'll explain some of the pages too. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump right in. Well, okay, thought so. Okay, StoryBrand. How many of you guys have heard of the StoryBrand? And then nobody? Ooh, exciting. Yeah. Okay, so the StoryBrand is an idea that Don Miller, who is a really awesome author, and then he also has a lot of really cool stuff specifically for small businesses. So definitely look him up. He's got some great books, one of which is called The StoryBrand. It's his method of communicating how a small business should, or any business should, brand themselves and then therefore market themselves. So we're going to throw it back to the middle school, high school days. Can anyone tell me what this is? Shark fin.
Square root.
Sure, shark fin. That's a creative answer. I'll take it. No, not square root. Nope.
Real estate business, like transactions, busy, not busy.
The heart rate of the real estate market. So this is a plot map. Anybody remember plot maps? You have to do those in literature class or make a summary.
Like the little climax and then
Yeah, there you go. We're going to go through that. So yeah, over here was what was called exposition. So that's setting your, doing your setting, your characters, all that good stuff. Then you had some type of conflict, right? And then with the conflict, you have rising action, all the things that happen. Then you've got climax, falling action, and then resolution, right? So with the idea of the StoryBrand, Don Miller talks about putting yourself in the position of the spirit guide character, and your customer is the hero of the story. Every story has a hero, right? And you follow them through this journey, okay? So you have to think of yourselves as not the hero of the story, though you are heroes, but the story of your business is more about your customers being the heroes and you guiding them along their plot map, right? So then when we're developing our brand, we want it to be as if we're telling a story, because as humans, our psychology, if we look through traditions, we look through, all the things we learn, we best learn through the structure of a story, right? That's why all these kids shows, it's like you've got there's always a lesson in there somewhere, right? Because that's how our brains more easily comprehend information. So your brand, same idea. So when we're defining our StoryBrand, there's a few things that we can ask ourselves that are going to help us to figure out the story that we're telling. So one's characters. So who am I marketing to? Who are the people that I'm trying to generate as leads? Okay. So you guys take a second now. So simple answer, people trying to buy a house, people trying to sell a house. But are there people specifically in your spheres that you can kind of categorize or group? So maybe that's you work with a lot of military people. Maybe you work with a lot of relocations. Maybe you work with, we had one that his niche was people who were downsizing. That's a very specific market. Maybe it's, Gen Zs. Maybe it's millennials. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. Okay, so just think about that for a second and take a second to write those down. I wish I had like background music for the time in between. Yeah. And does anybody want to share who are some of their characters, the heroes of the story?
School League.
School League?
Yes.
Like, okay, very cool.
Yeah, they just opened up the new pool.
The cue ball, yeah. Very cool. Nice. That's a great one. Anybody else?
Location
Relocations, yeah.
or second home.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason defining your characters are important is because every audience is going to be very specific, and the more tailored your story can be to that audience, the better. So remembering when you're talking to, when you're talking to people who are relocating, they're going to have different problems than say people who, are from the pool league who, you're just meeting that live here, looking for a house here. Hello. Come on in. Okay, so the next question, what problems will I be solving in 2023? Customers' needs. And here's a hint, you're not just helping them buy or sell a house. Think of 3 different types of problems: internal problem, external problem, philosophical problem. That's the tricky one. Anybody want to share theirs?
Providing good vendors and being their first friend.
Friend, that's a good one. That's a very good one if they're relocating, for sure. You have to think, so external problem, buying and selling house. They have to live somewhere. That's the external problem you guys are solving. Now, the internal problem, that's going to be more of the emotional connection. So whether that's being their first friend in the new city, whether that is, say you're helping them to downsize, helping them transition through a very difficult process. So you're not their psychologist, but when you're able to meet these internal needs while meeting their external needs, it's going to help you to have a better connection with them. Also, when marketing your story, your brand, if you're able to meet or communicate that you can meet an internal need, they are more likely to understand the value of your services. For example, like on our website, the first thing that I wanted people to know was that by working with us, you're able to actually do the things that you want to do and have that relief of like, we'll take care of all of the marketing stuff. So it's stop surviving and start thriving is what's on there. So that also, it's not just about, yeah, we do your marketing stuff, but I wanted people to know like, hey, you can have success and feel the weight lifted off of you by giving it to us. So if you can figure out a way in your branding and in your storytelling to somehow communicate that internal need, then that's going to make it much more effective. So in a real estate context, one website that we did, so I talk about it in terms of website because that's just, it's always like the banner that's right there. For Terry Bennett's website, we did Real Estate Made Simple. The first thing she wanted to know was that she preaches simplicity. Like, yes, she's a realtor, great, but how she sets herself apart is that she is going to make the process as simple and headache-free as possible. Again, meeting that internal need. So as you guys are thinking through the problems that you'll be solving, part of that is how can I help solve or facilitate the conflict in a different way than other realtors might? Because that's going to be what sets you apart. And that's going to be that story brand that we're talking about. Does that make sense? So in a real estate context, how can I help solve or facilitate the conflict? What are some of the things you guys wrote
First of all, like understand, find out like their why,
down? Mm-hmm.
what's their goal of finding a home, or they're looking for a rental, why?
Yeah,
Why is that important?
right. So understanding their goals and helping them to reach their specific goals, tailoring it to them. Hello, are you joining us?
We don't want to be the guest appearance.
Yeah.
Happy for you.
Awesome, thanks, Amy.
So one thing that I thought of the other day when we were prepping for this class, so how many of you guys in here do like cold calls? I know you've done cold calls.
I've been expired.
Expired, so that's still a cold call because you don't know them personally, right? Okay, so though I don't know y'all's individual scripts of what you say, I've heard Tyler doing his like all the time in there. You know, it seems like general script for cold calling, you call, you introduce yourself, you're like, hey, you know, I noticed your home was expired, looks like you're trying to move, or are you trying to sell or move? Whether they own their house, they don't. And so you kind of just jump right in and, you know, basically ask them, you buying or selling? Can I help you? Okay, thanks. And then move on. But I was thinking, how different would it look if you're cold calling or making these calls? And rather than like, let's just say you have a seller who, or a potential seller, they're like, hey, we own our house. We're not looking to sell. And rather than just be like, okay, great. Hope you have a great day. Or I'd love to keep in touch with you in the future. Can I have your email? Instead, figure out what their actual problem is right now relating to their home, because everyone's got something going on. So let's just say it's like, hey, I'm not looking to sell. Okay, great. Like, I just want you to know, since I have you on the phone, average equity that, you know, for homes this past year in Florida is about $65,000. Are there any home improvements that you're looking to make? Because it might be a great time to, you know, do a home equity loan and do some great home renovations. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, we were thinking about maybe doing something. Okay, well, cool. Can I send you an email about the most profitable renovations that you can do on your home for resale value? Oh yeah, sure. That would actually be really helpful. Oh, and I'll include some vendor information in there too, because I know it's really hard to find a vendor. So what I'm saying is try to meet whatever their related need is, because that's going to help you connect with them and then be considered in the future. It's a little bit it's an easier way of selling without selling. You know what I'm saying?
And help them solve a problem they don't even know that they have.
Correct. Exactly. Because everyone's got problems. Find a pain point, and then figure out a way of helping them with that need. So, okay. So moving on. So in communicating this message to your client. So this is where like the actual StoryBrand comes into play. Recommend to you guys, go through again, look at who your ideal customer is, figure out the specific problem you're helping them solve. And then also ask yourself, okay, how does that person's life look different now that they've worked with me? And the more you can condense this down into a very simple, quick statement, the better, because then that can go on all of your marketing materials. It can be the focus of everything. So like, for example, if Terry's StoryBrand is real estate made simple. So that's quick. Immediately they know she's a realtor and that their lives are going to be simpler when they hire her, right? So then in all of her brand messaging, in all of her marketing materials, how is that going to be communicated or reflected? If her thing is real estate made simple, what does that imply about the rest of her marketing?
Should be something.
Simple, to the point, no fluff, cut the noise. We're going to make this as simple as possible. I'm not going to sit here and give you a whole list of checklist items to do. I'm going to tell you, hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So once you have that message together, then everything else should follow and flow from that. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to talk about, where do your leads currently come from? So in order to talk about lead generating, you've got to know where our leads come from currently. Anybody want to share? Sphere.
Your past ones.
About 90, what is it? 96%, 95% come from Sphere, typically. Does anybody's not come from Sphere?
Majority were from cold calling.
Right, because you moved here and didn't have a Sphere. You had to create one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Open houses, that's a great one. Okay. Pool league. How often do you go play pool?
How else a week?
Oh, okay,
I'm terrible, but I'm learning.
that's good.
I think that's how you create a sphere. If you don't have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
What you like to do, you do it.
Yes, exactly. Well, and it's more fun and more effective than cold calls. So,
Let's just Cody as an example.
oh, Cody
Cody's a
Thompson.
Perfect example. If he goes out surfing, he's prospecting.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
And honestly, let's think about like, what better job is there than you get to do what you love to do as work? Like, as in, oh yeah, I get to go surfing and meet some people and hopefully get a deal. So when we talk about marketing budget, so now that we know where our leads come from, now we know where to direct our budget. So now we got to talk about how much should be in our budget. So this is something KW is very big on, lead with revenue. Okay, so if you have not done a bunch of transactions yet, like know that this is applying more to a certain volume as far as like what you should be spending. But once you hit a certain volume, you should be spending money on your marketing in order to keep the machine moving. Okay, because you're gonna have to leverage as you grow and you get busier. There's things that are gonna fall off your plate. Like right now, you might have all this time to, door knock, but then once you get busy, are you gonna have time to door knock? Probably not. So this is directly from the MREA book. Has anyone read the MREA book in here? Okay, so it's the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to like read for fun. It's not for fun. Gotta think of it like a textbook, but there's some really great information in there. Basically gives you a guide of how to build a business, very practically. So it's really good, but directly from the budget model, you've got a breakdown of cost of sales, gross profit, expenses, and net income. So let's look at the smallest number. Okay. So if someone did 6 million in GCI, their expenses are 33% of that typically, which if you look at, remains pretty consistent across the board. So it ranges between 29 and 33% of your income should be spent on expenses. Part of that is because of just naturally you're going to have to spend money, but also you got to think about, you need tax deductions. Okay. So then over on the other side, we've got of your expenses, what percentage of that should be on lead generating? 9.2% is what they recommend. Now, if most of your leads come from open houses, that means that 9.2%, a good chunk of that should go towards more open houses, whether that's signs, giveaways, follow-up processes, advertising for open houses. That's where you'd want to target your budget. Now, if it's Sphere, then put it all into Sphere, right? So just a general rule of thumb, if you know your GCI from the past year or the past 6 months, just remember these percentages because they stay pretty consistent across the board. So if you want to round down even, you can do 30% and then 9%. Okay. So then just calculate those numbers, and that's what you should be working with as your yearly lead generating or marketing budget. Okay. Any questions about that? Also, while we're talking about expenses and budgets, everyone in here has a means of tracking their expenses, right? Business expenses?
Someone.
App.
I can use an app.
Yes. I was going to say, I use QuickBooks for all of my stuff. The version for like the realtor, like who's not paying payroll and all that, super reasonable. It's like $30 a month. It automatically imports all of your transactions. You don't have to deal with spreadsheets. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And then at the end of the year, as long as you had all of your business expenses separate from personal, so you have your business account and your personal, you literally just hand your accountant your P&L and you're basically good to go. So makes taxes super easy. Make sure you set that up now because you don't want to get down the road and be like, oh my gosh, taxes are overwhelming and I'm going to die. Okay. Just had to throw that in there. Just had to throw that out. Okay. So we're going to talk about different means of contacting people to lead generate, right? Classic is the call or text. So I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate the idea of having to call someone and just like generate a conversation out of nothing. That is very intimidating to me. I have to have an excuse or a reason to call someone. So we're going to talk about, so don't just think I'm saying, oh yeah, just pick up the phone and call these people, easy peasy. We're going to give you guys some topic ideas or like excuses to call people each month. So we'll get into that. But just as far as scheduling it out, this is the recommended way of dividing up your database. So the letters A and W, B and E, D and O, H and B, and so on, those represent the first letter of the last name of the contact in your database. So you can organize your contacts by everyone with an A last name, everyone with a W. And then week 1 of the month, those are the people that you're reaching out to. And then so you can see how that would then just be your schedule. If you follow this, you are contacting everyone in your database once a quarter. Now, the reason I also put text on there is because in today's world, I do think we have to talk about the old school, like calling everyone thing is not everyone's thing. People do not want to pick up from a phone number they don't recognize. Usually it'll go to voicemail, which honestly, leaving a voicemail is not the worst thing ever either. But what's more effective is texting someone, unless they're, I'll just say, over a certain age or of a certain, like they hate texting or something. Okay. But texting is usually the way to go. Now make it personal. Don't make it generic like you copy and paste it, but you can copy and paste it. But make it seem personalized to that person, right? Any questions about that? No?
Is that what a lot of the other like top agents, they text, a lot of them keep text and they call it.
If I'm being honest, a lot of the top agents,
Personality, I guess.
totally depends on the personality. It depends who's in their sphere. Also depends on the, like a lot of the top agents I know really aren't lead generating anymore. They are more so just maintaining. Yeah, you're focused on your sphere, and it's gonna be more passive. So like, are they sitting here with a call schedule? Probably not. Brett Aronic, 1000%. He's like the most consistent caller ever, and he calls. But most of his audience, so Brett is a top producer in Amelia Island.
I mean, his situation though.
Yes.
Is so unique because it's so.
It's a lot of investors, isn't it?
But no,
It's a lot of investors.
it's a lot
up
of
there,
investment,
too,
but
it's
it's
a
a
lot of-
small area that
Yes.
he can be dominant. To be dominant in Jacksonville with the size of our city.
Correct.
Would take.
Oh,
You
yeah.
couldn't do it without ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Exactly. But for him too, a lot of his clients are either investors or they, he's the one I was talking about where his niche was downsizing. He works with a lot of the same people that live in the same complex that are downsizing to something else. So they're going to be a little bit older. So phone calls make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as it really just depends on the person. But I will say he's the only one I know who is a top producer who makes consistent phone calls. So something to think about. Yeah. Okay. So objectives, we're going to fill out. So these next pages, we're now going to go through each month and talk about the different types of contacts and the reasons to call people, excuses to call people, text them, email them, all that good stuff. So now we're going to talk about all the creative fun things. Okay. Also, you'll notice on each month, there is a section at the bottom that is called the 411. So this is a Keller Williams goal setting tool where you have one goal for the month. Okay. And then each week you fill in 4 items that help you to reach that goal. Okay. Everybody following? Yes. Okay. Which that's a whole nother class in and of itself, but that's the simple version of that. Okay. So January, which you'll notice too, I have 4 different contacts recommended for each month: email, mailer, call or text, and then social media themes, because you're not just doing one post. Okay. So we have themes for you guys. So January, email of value. Also, people think email is dead. I promise you it is not dead. Forbes still recommends it to be the top return on investment form of marketing. Okay. So email, the one thing I will say about email, make sure the frequency isn't too much. So don't do 1 email a week. Do 1 great email of value per month or 2 tops. Okay. Because if you do any more than that, people are going to unsubscribe. Which also, how many of you, being honest, how many of you actually regularly unsubscribe from emails?
See, I don't, because it's like, how can you expect people to not unsubscribe from yours if you unsubscribe from them?
Yes.
That's being a complete hypocrite.
She's putting out the good juju.
But it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
I get emails every other.
But people are gonna feel that way about you too.
I mean, if it's like 1 a month.
They'll still, if you hit them in the wrong mood, they're gonna say that you're extreme because you're gonna be connected and you have no control.
Well, I will say you're less likely to have them unsubscribe if it's 1 a month. Cause yeah, some of the stores, it's like, holy crap, I just got like 3. Well, and now I will say that there's,
Text and email when you get when they-
oh yeah, I unsubscribe from like the political text and stuff. Cause that's like,
Well, that's the only, but I get mail 4 times, every
Yeah.
mail I get is political mail. I can't unsubscribe from my mail.
Yeah. which is why you have people's addresses, because they can't unsubscribe from those.
Yep.
But with emails specifically, I think it's interesting too, how this is going to affect email marketing. Like, I want to see stats on this next year, because Gmail now has that feature at the top where it says, haven't opened these emails in a while. Do you want to unsubscribe? So that'll be interesting to see how it impacts numbers.
AT&T
Over a long term.
just started something that, I forget what they call it, but they'll automatically unsubscribe you. They'll ask if you want to do it, but they're starting it for their own cell phone. People can automatically.
Ooh,
unsubscribe. I saw an ad
nice.
for that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so email, I just want to say email is not dead. It is definitely still very important. And I do harp on, because some people say it doesn't matter what you email, as long as you're in their inbox. I will say you will get better engagement and make better connections with people if it's valuable, relevant information. Okay. We do very customized email campaigns, and we see crazy amount higher of open rate and click rate when the information is tailored to the audience. Okay. Okay. So January, for that email, we recommend, so it's a great time to talk about New Year's resolutions, and then you could tie in, maybe it's your resolution to buy a home. I usually recommend, though, honestly, keep your emails and a lot of your content very real estate light. Okay. People only want to buy or sell a house every 7 years or something like that. Changes a little bit every year, but every 7 years, you don't want them to only engage with your content every 7 years. Okay. So like I said before, figure out whatever that pressure point is in the moment, meet that need, and you will be remembered. Okay. So New Year's resolutions, taxes, homestead, that deadline sneaks up on people. Okay. I had a lot of people panicking mid-February that were like, oh my gosh, please send out an email to my database to remind them about homestead. I'm like, you should start that in January. So make sure in January, all your buyers from the previous year, you're sending out a homestead reminder. You don't want to get that angry phone call after that. You could do 2023 design or decor forecasts. Every year there's all these paint companies that are like, oh, here's the color of the year, which a lot of fun photos to use. So that's great. And so that's, an easy way to do that. Meal planning or prepping, a lot of recipe ideas. Also it's cold usually in January, hot chocolate recipes. I put one in someone's newsletter that was like boozy hot chocolate recipes. That one got a lot of clicks. So just keep that in mind. Olympics, if the Olympics are happening, usually the schedule will come out in January for the Winter Olympics. A Super Bowl pool. If you can figure out a way of getting your contacts to sign up for something and be a part of something, create a community, always going to be super effective. So February always is when the Super Bowl is. So you could have a little pool going, or I don't know how that relates to like fantasy football. You could always do it in the fall, but I don't know much about fantasy football as far as a Super Bowl context. Never mind. Yeah. Yes. So then the cool thing is, once you have all of that content that you're using for your email, most likely your audience that actually reads their mail is different than email. So use that same content that you worked so hard to get on a mailer and then send that out. Now, I have seen, because people ask, like, should I mail something once a month? Should I mail something once a quarter, every other month? Because postage is expensive. Pick a small number and try to hit them every month. Because if you want to stay in front of someone nowadays, like, think about how often you are inundated with content and information. I mean, with social media, with the news on your phone now, emails, everything, the more you can be in front of that noise, the better. So having a mailer that comes in the mail once a month, you're going to have more mind share. Also, because like, if you know that someone opens those emails, don't send them a mailer. Look at your opens, see who's not opening them, and try sending those people a mailer. And then it'll be much more economically efficient, right? And mailers are about 89 cents per mailer to print, give or take. It depends on the amount you're sending. If you have a really large budget for this and you want to do a whole farm, you can use Everydoor direct mail, much cheaper per card. But if you're doing like 100 or less, look at about 89 cents per card for print and postage. Okay. Okay. So and the thing about a mailer too, if you can put dates and times for things on a mailer, it will be more likely kept, because it's information that they will need to refer back to. Okay. So having events in the area. So like, maybe it's like TPC schedule. Well, not for January, but you know what I mean? You have some type of schedule or calendar, Jags games. Those are the types of things that people are going to save, or at least take a picture of on their phone. So that way, they can refer back to that information. Okay. call and text. So same kind of topics, Happy New Year. You could talk about taxes or homestead, trusted advisor, market trends. So with a new year, people have new financial goals, right? You guys want to be seen as a trusted financial wealth advisor in the sense of real estate, right? So you saying, hey, just wanted to check in with you. You know, I know that you might have some financial goals this year. If one of those includes starting to invest in real estate, I would love to speak to you about some possible investment opportunities, something like that. Okay. So Super Bowl pool, again, you could start a group chat with that one once you got everybody going. And then during the Super Bowl, everyone's texting each other, and that would be a good one. So then social media themes, new year, new brand. If you're launching a new brand, the new year is a great time to do it. Because you've got that catchy tagline, and also everyone starts over with the opportunity of a new year, right? A goal or a challenge. So I saw there's a couple agents that did, or a couple people I follow that did like a water challenge. Like every day I'm going to drink a gallon of water in January or whatever, but then they post about it every day.
Ron Taylor did that with his women.
Yes.
Which was,
People get involved. They want to know. They're like, hey, how's it doing? Yeah. So doing a goal or challenge, or challenging your people following to also complete that as well. Olympics, Super Bowl, forecasts, faves, market trends and forecasts. Like I said, try not to get super real estate heavy. Yes, you want your people to know you're in real estate, but keep it more as an asterisk, not just like everything's real estate. Okay. And then tax reminders for sure. Any other thoughts on January? Anybody have any other cool ideas that they've done for January they want to share? No? Okay. So then on your sheet, it does have a spot for, I believe, for a number of like mailers and stuff. Oh, and birthday cards too. I talk about birthday cards. Who doesn't love receiving a birthday card or birthday text or email, right? I get one from like the most random people, like the people that took my wisdom teeth out sent me a postcard for my birthday. Now, another thing to think about too, how often are you upset if it's early or late? Like as long as it's within that month, you're not gonna be upset. So one way to do it is to go through at the beginning of January, go to Facebook, who's got birthdays in the next month, fill out all of those cards then, or email or whatever it is, schedule it and just get it done, right? So send all the cards January 1st, January 2nd.
you can also just I put a sticky on mine and just
Sure.
say, oh, this is the day I mail, he's the first, he's the fifth, he's whatever, and then just run out and, right to the front desk.
Yeah, and
I write them on one day, but I stagger them out.
correct. Well, and then too, if you really want something like techie and like easy, they have AM cards. Have you used AM cards? So AM cards is a big like KW partner, which is a pretty cool company, but it's a subscription, very inexpensive and reasonable, but you basically it gives you a credit for a certain number of like cards per month. And you can create a custom card, type it all out, and send it. And you can also add like a $5 gift card, or like different things to it. I think they even now have like brownies and cookies, which I'm like, whoa, it's crazy. I don't know if I would trust brownies or cookies I got from someone I didn't know though. Yeah. I'd be like, no. But yeah, so birthday cards, huge. And also, like I said, so for mailers, pick a manageable budget for that. So if you want to try 100 contacts a month, you're looking at $89 per month for something like that. Okay. All right. Next. February. So Super Bowl, if you get it out soon enough, could still apply. Valentine's date spots. So something that we did on social media, Thrive tested this out. In January, I made 4 reservations around Jacksonville for 2 people for Valentine's Day. Then the week before Valentine's Day, when everything's booked, I posted on our social media and said, hey, I've got 4 reservations, who wants them? And then we would call and change it out to their name. I got so many comments, even on people who didn't actually take me up on it. I got so many comments about, oh my gosh, that was so cool. That was such a fun idea, blah, blah, blah. That is a really great way. Now you have to think ahead, think in January, for if you're doing reservations. Literally, I called like 3 or 4 weeks out and still had trouble getting some places, which I was shocked.
For December then.
Yeah, in December, like while you're making your Christmas, all that stuff reservations, then go ahead and just do Valentine's Day. Yeah, because I tried to make one at Orsay and of course they were booked. But anyway, so best Valentine's date night spots. Again, taxes and homesteads still applicable in February, even if you already said it, say it a million times to those buyers who bought. Recipes for Super Bowl parties, recipes for Valentine's treats, DIY Valentine's ideas. So this is one where if you know that people in your sphere have a lot of kids, there's like a whole different standard of the Valentines you bring to school. Like from what I've heard, I can't speak from that, but it's like DIY everything. It's got to look very Pinteresty, like whatever. So we did that one year for a client who has a lot of kids in her sphere. Well, moms who have kids in their sphere. And she got such great feedback and so many people thanking her like, hey, totally, use this idea. So, and you got to think about if you're sending this type of information, so say they take you up on one of these things and it goes over well, they think about you often, like you helped them with something and they're going to remember that event that you told them about, or they're going to remember that recipe they made that now is a staple that they make every week. And they're going to think about you. So that's a very great way of building mind share consistently. So then call or text, you've got taxes, the trust advisor call, whoever you didn't call last month. Because remember, you're only calling people once a quarter, so you can reuse your topics. You could do a cheesy Valentine text. Y'all, puns and cheesy things make people laugh. It is memorable. It might sound ridiculous to you, always works. Even if they're like, that is so stupid, they still laugh. Dad jokes are dad jokes for a reason. People think they're funny, even if they're dumb. So just keep that in mind. Social media themes. So you've got Olympic, Super Bowl, all that stuff again. Market trends, tax reminders. You could feature different local restaurants or shops for Valentine's Day. So each week, pick a different restaurant or something, or places to get gifts. It is Black History Month, so there's some really great content with that too. Or focus on love and gratitude. I mean, because it's Valentine's Day, you don't have to just focus on romantic love. You could also have just a general love and gratitude message. There was also a series I saw someone do a few of my favorite things. So once a week, this person went to one of her favorite places around the city and did a little video. And it was part of a few of her favorite things.
If anyone here does the Lolo stuff.
Lolo's great
I
too.
do Lolo videos on my Facebook all the time.
Mhm.
You can recruit people to join, get Lolo, but also, and then the rest, you talk to the people who own the place and all, it's really good fun.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't want to do video, which video is most effective, but if you don't want to do video, you just go to that restaurant, get whatever the free gift is that month, take a little picture of it and then post it. So you don't even have to talk to anyone if you don't want to, right? Okay. Any other ideas for February that you guys can think of?
Getting ready for spring, actually.
Getting ready for spring? Yeah. 'Cause-
Gardening type stuff, just because
Mhm.
weather's still weird, but it is.
Yes. Yeah. In Florida, spring-ish. Yeah.
Potentially.
So March. Okay, so March, you've got St. Patrick's Day. Spring break destinations. Usually spring break is going to be end of March or early April, I think, usually. You could do a March Madness bracket. That's another interactive one if you've got sporty people. Taxes still. And even if it's not real estate specific tax tips, people are still doing their taxes. And it's April 15th is tax day, right? But I think it's on a weekend this year. But anyway, starting a spring garden. You could do St. Patrick's Day crafts. So again, people with kids, if you've got people with kids in your sphere. Call text, you've got some of the same ones. March Madness bracket. St. Patrick's Day text, again, cheesy, but I'm so lucky to have you as a customer and raving fan. You could also do spring cleaning referral to whether it's a home organizer, a cleaning company. Home organizers are huge right now. And there's some really great ones in Jacksonville. But everyone's like, ever since that show, oh gosh, Home Edit, has anyone seen that? Like categorize everything by color. It's actually very like satisfying to watch. Everything's always in a clear box that's labeled and it's like, whew. So yeah, like recommend, like say, hey, I know spring cleaning's going on. I just wanted to let you know, I know some really great home organizers and cleaners, like if you're looking for some help this year, or landscapers for people starting a garden. Again, try to figure out what that need might be and fill that need. social media themes, you got March Madness again. I'm so lucky to have series, so then you could even feature clients. I'm so lucky to have this person in my life. I'm so lucky to have my dogs in my life. Spring cleaning checklists. So you could do a weekly challenge. This week, clean these areas of your home. You could do spring activities, like ways of getting outside if the weather's nice. Florida, it's always a question mark. Local St. Patrick's Day events. And then always, if you're featuring a local business on social media, tag them. Especially if it's small and local, they will most likely repost that post because any traction they can get or free content they can get on social media, the better. That's why influencers have a job. So, yeah. Oh, and then Q1 pop by. Now you can do, so a pop by, we didn't talk about, is a small gift or item that you give to your sphere. Now, I don't recommend necessarily giving this out to everyone in your sphere. What you could do is divide up by like who gets Q1, who gets Q2, 3, and 4. So that way everyone gets something throughout the year. Or you can have a consistent group that gets something every quarter from you. And that would be who I call your raving fans. Say it's a top 20, a top 25. Now, these don't have to be past customers. They don't have to be people who are actively buying and selling. These are people who sing your praises to everyone they know. The people that are constantly talking about you to their friends, okay? So pop buys, you could do, I recommend once a quarter, financially and just like logistically, it makes sense. So Q1, you could do January, February, or March, but March, there's some cool ideas that we can talk about, which I think I have a slide. Yep. Okay. So because it's spring, local honey is always great, especially for people with allergies. Honey you can always use for something. So, and you also get to support a local vendor potentially. The other one, so this one I love because you can mail it in an envelope if you don't want to actually go give this to someone. It is wildflower seed paper shaped like a house. And then you could pair it with a little card that says, thank you so much for helping my business grow. Puns, like I said, always work.
Where you plant the house and it grows somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like seed medium.
yeah, seed paper.
Where'd you get those?
You can get them on Etsy. Yep. And they have different shapes, colors, all that good stuff.
I've got an idea that I did once that actually got really good response.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember exactly what it said. It wasn't a pop by, but it was like just like a quarterly mailer, and it said something like, I hope you get your pot of gold, and I sent a $1 trash off. And
That's a
probably
good
sent to
one.
100 people. I probably had 10 like text me saying, I want $20, I want $5. I'm like, David, can you have?
Yeah. I forgot to mention, I get a commission. You what?
80 people, and there's hundreds of them. They always do St. Patrick's Day, so I do mine
Yeah.
for tax day.
Yeah,
Doing a new tax bracket.
nice.
Like that.
That's good too. Yeah. And then also local jam, because that's very springy. Real estate is my jam. Yep. So yeah, whatever it is, usually, so these are just some that I recommend based on they're easy to get, easy to send, or just very inexpensive. Because we've tried to do some pretty elaborate ones before, and it's more of a headache than what it's worth, you know? So keep it simple, because whatever pop by, the best pop by is whatever pop by you're actually going to deliver and create. I've had so many people where we used to do pop by workshops where we'd give them the idea of like, okay, here's what we're doing. We're gonna all get together, put them all together. They even get to the point where they put it all together, then they just never deliver it. So pick whatever's easiest for your lifestyle and your business, your process, okay? And next, April, which is, so right now it is March 16th. Yep, okay. I should know that because I scheduled a class on that day. So March 16th, what day is it actually? There's nothing to do with spring. I'm taking a little tangent real quick.
What was the question?
So if today's March 16th, what is actually today?
Today's No,
I-
that's the,
that
that's the
was-
March is,
Wasn't it yesterday?
not the 16th,
I think it was,
15th.
yeah, because I missed Pi Day. So bummed about Pi Day. I missed Pi Day.
Oh, yeah, Mixed Feelings was giving all kinds of stuff.
So general rule of thumb for the real estate industry. It is actually 90 days from now. The activity you do today will affect your business 90 days from now.
4th of July.
There you go. So 90 days ago, if you're like, why is business so slow? What was 90 days ago? So, like, yes, there's obviously market specific things that are happening that makes things complicated, but general rule of thumb, if you weren't marketing 90 days ago, it's gonna be slow today, which is where we get this being the up and down, of real estate. So that the reason I say that with this is that if you're not already working on, so April is next month. If you don't already have content for this, you're already a little behind. So get on it. I would say by this week, you at least have to have your content done for April if you're going to actually get it done in April. We usually, so right now, today and tomorrow, we are sending April postcards out for our clients. So, because that means you have 2 weeks to get it there by April, so you can use standard mail and postage. So it's a little cheaper. So that's why, just be thinking at least 2 weeks ahead. Obviously, ideally 90 days ahead for the activities you're doing. Okay, April, spring break destinations, starting a spring garden, spring cleaning, local outdoor activities or event. You could also do local restaurants that have great outdoor vibe or seating, rooftop bars, rainy day activities because we're about to get a lot of rain, yay. Spring home decor. That's not super cheesy spring home decor. Spring wreath DIY tips, salad recipes. Y'all, food always goes over well. I know I say recipes a lot, and y'all are not cooks, you're realtors, but everyone's got to eat. So recipes always go over super well. Call or text, again, spring cleaning referral, organizer company, refer a landscaper, a gardening company. Or if they're going to list their house for summer, the weather is warming up and the market is hotter than ever. That's a text you could do. A happy Easter call or text also if Easter falls in April. Does Easter always fall in April? I feel like sometimes it's in March. But I don't know.
One time there is.
Seems like 3 years ago was more.
Yeah. I just always, the ones that change dates every year confuse me. So then social media themes, spring cleaning checklist, weekly challenge, outdoor activities, picnics around town, tag local picnic spots. Did y'all know there are companies that will come and set up your whole picnic for you? And it's like super cute and bougie. We've done it before. It was so much fun. So there's some great picnic companies you could refer to, gardening, planting. And again, if you want to get real estate topic for social media, you could do listing their house for summer. Real estate in spring and summer are always, I will say for us marketing wise, our busiest month is July and August, because that's when listings are crazy up. And then also that's when y'all are busy. So then we stay super busy. So spring and summer are always going to be busier for you guys. Any ideas for April other than those?
Well, I'll tell you, I have, actually it's March, but on the 25th, which is next Saturday, I went and talked with Ace Hardware down the street, and we're doing Right Choice Day. And so for all my people, if they come in that day, they're gonna get 20% off anything in the store, minus the grills or the furniture.
Yeah.
Or the Yetis. But and if they come between 12 and 2, I'll be there to name hot dogs.
So cool. Love that. So I call that a reverse pop by.
Yeah.
They come to you. That's even better. You don't have to go anywhere. That's awesome. Okay, so May marketing ideas. Again, local outdoor activities or events, summer festivals and concerts. If people are planning for summer, that's when they should be looking at that stuff. So always think like a month or two ahead as far as like ideas, but also like, okay, in winter, don't be talking about all these outdoor places that no one wants to go because it's too cold. So then summer vacation ideas, summer poolside drink recipes. Watermelon is in season in the summer, so there's lots of watermelon content you could do. Poolside playlists. We have one client that we do a featured playlist every month in her email. And that always goes over super well. So if you've got a lot of music people, Spotify makes it super easy. You can share a link to a playlist. So super easy to share your playlists. Backyard pool decor ideas. Also, I'll backtrack too. If you want to talk about like people planning their pool, they should really be doing that not in summer. Like that's when they want a pool. Maybe bring that up in like December. Like, hey, you want a summer pool? Contact me. I know some people. Okay. Barbecue recipes or ideas, party ideas. Call or text. You've got, also May for the kid one. One that went over super well, summer camps. Summer camps fill up so fast. for kids. So if you can send out a summer camp, a local summer camp schedule, as early as possible. Like if you find it in April, great. If you find it in May, you just kind of figure out, sometimes I feel like they change when they start, announcing those things. If you do that, moms will love you. Love you, love you. Okay, so then call, text, refer landscaping, gardening company, listing house for summer, happy Memorial Day. May the 4th be with you text. If you got any Star Wars fans in your group. Also, this is funny. I one time we were doing an email for May, but we were sending it out like April 29th or last day of April. And I did, have y'all seen that GIF or meme of Justin Timberlake? It's going to be May. Okay. So I did that. And whoever the client, when they were like looking through it, was like, who's that really creepy guy at the top? Can we get rid of him? I was like, that's Justin Timberlake. It's going to be May. But anyway, so just remember your audience. They might not get all of those references, but when they do, they think it's really funny. So just remember who you're talking to. Okay, social media, outdoor activities, picnics, myth busting May. So you can have myth busting about real estate, buying a home, selling a home, summer bucket list, and Memorial Day. Or Justin Timberlake. You could do a Justin Timberlake series. Yeah. 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 Or like who has the best margarita in Jacksonville, or places to get margaritas in Jacksonville. Anytime you can incorporate local stuff, always a really good option. But yeah, who doesn't love a margarita? Tacos and tequila. Okay. So in June, again, local outdoor activities are still relevant. Summer festivals, summer vacation ideas, poolside drink recipes. Juneteenth is in June. And then smoothie recipes, baseball schedule for local teams. So we're the shrimp, jumbo shrimp. So you could do the jumbo shrimp schedule. Also, there was the Savannah Bananas, I guess. Apparently Lauren was freaking out. I don't know who they are, but you could do that. Call or text, listing house for summer, Juneteenth, mid-year check-in, market trends in the neighborhood, hurricane preparedness. So big one for summer in Florida. Whether that's them making sure they have flood insurance before the first named storm, making sure they're covered, or it could just be, hey, what's in your hurricane kit? Here's what's in mine. Or you could always do like mini hurricane kits and like give them away to people. But yeah, so hurricane preparedness is very big. Social media themes, summer bucket list, summer destination series, feature local outdoor events, restaurants with local outdoor patios or dining, beach day essentials. So I had one agent who's like the beach girl. She did what's in your beach bag. And so she featured different beach items that she found, because every year they're coming up with something, different. Did y'all know they have bracelets that can tell you when your sunscreen needs to be reapplied? Like crazy. Anyway, yeah, so just like fun, cool things that you find. The more, I will say this, when you share information like that, the more obscure something is, like people don't know about it, the better. It's like, think about when you're on Instagram and you're scrolling and there's this influencer that's like showing you this cool new thing they found. You're like, oh, whoa, that's so cool. So just try to have that same effect. Okay, hurricane season tips also for social media. So then also Q2 pop by already. What? How's it already been 3 months? Okay. So here are just a few ideas. So you've got 4th of July coming up. So if you did it towards the end of June, you could do glow sticks or sparklers. You could do bug spray because bugs are real in Florida in the summer. And then also pop rocks, because that's very 4th of July themed. I also saw one too. It's Father's Day's in June, isn't it? Okay. I will say be careful with Father's Day and Mother's Day. Sometimes it's a very sensitive topic for people. So just make sure if you're doing something on social media or in an email that you're being very inclusive in those communities, But one thing for Father's Day people did, they were on sale at Costco. It was the like ketchup mustard relish packs for like Father's Day barbecue or summer barbecue, if you do it that way. And it said, looking forward to catching up. And then remember, I relish your referrals or something. Very punny. I liked it. There's like at least 3 puns in it. So yeah, that's another idea also. Any other ideas for June? We one time did a summer, we did like a beach kit. That one was a little pricier, but it looked really cute. It was we went to Five Below and got buckets, the little beach buckets. Had the little shovel on it. And then we put like a beach towel, some sunscreen, and then like some of those ice pops that weren't actually frozen yet, you know. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so in July, 4th of July schedule for fireworks, because that's always, you know, a little different. Where to see the fireworks, summer house maintenance tips, 4th of July themed recipes, and that includes drink recipes. I will say too, make sure, remember your audience again. Like we have some audiences, you know, where like putting stuff about cocktails, like no one, like they're totally fine with that. But then, you know, if you want to also put in like, oh, here's some mocktail options instead of cocktails, you can do that too. Firework safety. Who doesn't love firework safety? Don't explode. Back to school shopping, because in July, they're already starting to get that stuff together. And end of summer party ideas. Call or text. Oh, also in July, you could do, usually school calendars have come out of like school holidays, and that kind of thing. So again, if you have moms with kids, you could always do the like Duval County school schedule, St. Johns County school schedule, because they find that very helpful. Call or text, mid-year check-in on the market, summer rentals. So a lot of people are traveling during summer and have been staying in Airbnbs, and they're like probably thinking, I wonder how hard it is to actually Airbnb something. So that's a good time to reach out to them and say, hey, you know, if you're looking to get an investment property, start doing a rental, Airbnb, I have some resources for you. Which also, does anyone in here do Airbnb, like have an Airbnb themselves? There are some agents in the office who I know a while back taught a class, but there's some really cool information. Like you have resources here that can help you like educate your customers about what it's actually like to have an Airbnb and rent it out. So, or you could also text a coupon for an ice cream to local ice cream shops. So then that's something too, with the coupon thing. Any month, if you have a relationship with a local business owner and you can get them to offer a discount or a coupon or some item of value, that could potentially be a really great partnership for the two of you guys. That's like Lolo, but if you know someone personally, then that.
Do you have any idea of like, you know, Popeyes are with people, but if we have a relationship with the business already, is there anything we can do? Like swing by every quarter, like drop something off so that they feel like I'm providing something of value. And then I don't think it would do the same thing as an individual, so do you have any ideas?
I would say it kind of depends on the business and how it's set up. Like we have people that drop stuff off here, and usually it's just a basket of items. So you could think about it in that way. It's just like multiple Popeyes. Like, so, Colleen in Amelia, she does Girl Scout cookies. So every year with Girl Scout cookies, she'll buy like a bunch of boxes and then take them to, her husband's school that he works at and just fill the mailboxes for all the teachers with Girl Scout cookies. So in my mind, it would be, you could do similar ideas, just it would have to be more for like all the employees, the boss, all that stuff. If there's a specific business in mind, I'm trying to think. Like off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that would be specifically like business minded, other than just having a bunch, but I'll think about it. Okay, so then call text, we talked about that. Social media, dog days of summer. So you could do, feature a bunch of dogs or like dog friendly places around the area. I always joke that the only things safe on social media anymore are babies, dogs, and, what was the other one? Babies, dogs. Oh my gosh, totally just went blank. Anyway, babies and dogs. Those are the two. See, I feel like cats aren't even a safe topic anymore. They're very controversial. Some people just don't like cats. I'm just kidding. No, you can post your cats. So then July is National Ice Cream Month and National Picnic Month. So you could play into those themes as well. You could do a day trip series. So usually by July, it's freaking hot here. So if there are day trips north people can make to get a break from the heat, you could do that. Or day trips to the Springs or to the Keys, different things like that. Investment series about rentals and Airbnbs, and again, hurricane season tips as well. Okay. Any thoughts, questions?
Funny toilets, like pretty safe.
Oh my gosh, I remember you did like a whole thing about it. Oh my gosh, those were really funny.
People telling me I should like put coffee table books together and help them. Because if you're not on my social media, I post like almost every other day or so, I post like a funny real estate picture of DIY gone bad.
Yeah, it's good. DIY gone bad in and of itself is just a great,
And
yeah.
I can't go anywhere because everybody always comments to me, people who are not participating on my social media are commenting to me how much they love my posts. But I also get people who, high school versus peer, talking to each other, Republican versus Democrat.
Oh,
talking to each
geez.
other. I mean, it's like, it's an amazing unifier. of
Yeah.
people.
Well, and I'll say this about social media, like you have to think about what is the purpose of social media? It is to entertain people. It's people, you go on social media when you're bored, when you're looking for something to just like, whether it's to turn off your brain and laugh at something or to see like stalk somebody like, oh, what are they doing today?
Yeah.
You know, and so when you're posting on social media, just remember that, like, don't make it, you don't have to worry about everything looking super tailored and super specific to real estate or whatever. The more authentic you are, the more entertaining you are, the better. I remember when we started doing Thrive's social media, because I was debating, do I keep it just mine because all my realtor people follow me on mine, or do I make a separate one? And I went and made a separate one just because like having a team, you know, I wanted to have an opportunity for them to post things too. And I remember we just did these ridiculous videos like most of the time. And people, like, even if they weren't commenting on my Instagram, they would come up to me and like just, you know, oh my gosh, that was so funny. Da, da, da. But then I was like laughing. I'm like, would I trust me seeing this video? Would I trust me with marketing or like business advice? Like, nope, probably not. But that's not really the point. You know, it makes you, social media is where you can be relatable and make connections and make people laugh and get engaged. So just remember that. Don't take yourself too seriously. But also don't do TikTok dances unless you can actually dance. I will say that. I've seen some really bad ones. Okay. August marketing ideas, school county schedules, back to school suggestions like scheduling, drop zone decor and organization tips. I feel like, I mean, in Florida, like we don't really have the whole like mudroom thing as much. I feel like, or I don't see it as much where I am. But like having some type of drop zone organizing tip, DIY, whatever. Quick, easy school night recipes, virtual learning tips, trending paint colors. Also, when kids go back to school, that means now parents potentially have more time at home, you know, to be doing different projects and things like that. Football schedules for August. And then is that when fantasy football starts? Does anybody know? Because that's another bracket or league you could do. I don't know enough about that. So then call or text, summer rentals, interested in buying investment property, texting about the school county schedules, football schedule. And that one you could do too. The football schedules as a print are really nice. So like postcard wise, those just look, you know, very nice. They might save them, put them on their fridge if they have a magnetic fridge still. Home value call. So being halfway through the year, if you want to, you know, say, hey, if you want to know how much equity you've gained, like, let me know. Also because it's the hottest time to usually list your house, you know, you might have more equity right now with what's going on. Hurricanes, again, social media themes, you got hurricane, sports, school. And then I just picked a random one. So like mortgage, home inspection tips. You can always pick a different category for real estate and just focus on that each month. Also, there's some really great content. Keeping Current Matters. If you want like some numbers stuff, they have some really great stuff on there. I just saw a video where they broke down like what an interest rate buy down actually looks like as far as, okay, so the seller puts rather than reducing the price 10,000, they buy down the interest rate 10,000. This is what like the new monthly payment would look like. Whoa, totally blew my mind. Like, yeah, I've heard y'all talk about it, but actually seeing the number and how it would affect me, like as a homeowner, I was like, oh, dang, that's super cool. So cool stuff. So September. Football schedules, backyard bonfire, decor ideas, Labor Day barbecue recipes, hurricane prep, places to evacuate. So usually September is when we get like a big one. Seems like it's like Irma, Matthew. I think
I feel like
Matthew.
this goes later and later every year. though.
Yeah. But I swear it's like always Labor Day. There's something going on. So you could always do places to evacuate, pet-friendly places to evacuate too, is very helpful. Where to see the fall leaves. So in September, usually people are like ready for fall to get here. So going on a trip to North Carolina to see leaves change, all that good stuff. Hiking trails in the area. Believe it or not, there are lots of great trails in Jacksonville. They're not very hilly, obviously. No elevation, but some still cool trails. Call or text, football schedule, home value, hurricane preparedness, happy Labor Day. Updated info call. So you could always do a call just saying, hey, I'm going through halfway through the year, updating all of my contacts. Would love to get your updated address, email, whatever. If you don't have someone's mailing address, always try to get it because like Rachel was saying earlier, they cannot unsubscribe from mail. So, and I will say too, I think I never really put value on paper mail. Like that was just not my thing. I barely ever checked my mail. The mailman thought we moved because I just never checked the mail. But I will say post-COVID, I have seen a huge difference in people actually checking their mail. And part of me suspects it's because people just went so long without like connecting that they're now like, and they were stuck at home that they're like, oh, I just want to like any connection to the outside world. Like I'll take it right now. And so ever since then, I've been getting way more responses on people's postcards, I've noticed. So, and I've noticed too, like I'm checking my mail more. And I will say in my neighborhood, I have not gotten since I moved in, a single mailer from a realtor, only Open Door. And you know how many signs for Open Door I saw in my neighborhood? 3, all at the same time. Crazy. Because also, who uses Open Door actually? That to me shocked me. Somebody doesn't know a realtor, but also I think people who are looking for convenience see it as like a very convenient option, even though it charges you an obscene amount of fees, which they don't understand. So in my neighborhood, it's a lot of older people who are downsizing or moving closer to family. So to me, that was interesting. But anyway, okay. So then social media, Labor Day activities locally, football, home selling tips, again, because that's a big time for home sales. Fall bucket list. I know in September, it doesn't feel like fall in Florida, but people are already mentally wanting it to be fall. Fall picks, so local drinks, food, events. I believe that in September is when pumpkin donuts come out at Sonati's because it's the first day of fall, which I think is September 20th or 21st. So pumpkin donuts at Sonati's are like the local thing, right? So go get some pumpkin donuts and bring them to people or remind people, hey, you can now get pumpkin donuts. So any other thoughts? No? Sorry, we're going quicker and quicker through these. Q3 pop by. So these are just a few that we've done. So doing a fall scented candle. So the tag says always trust a real estate agent with good scents. And fall candles. I mean, I don't know anybody in September who's not like, again, ready for fall because it's so hot here that they're ready for it. So having that, smell is always good. S'more kit. So this one takes a little bit more of like building it, but I've seen it really cute where you do like a mason jar, got some graham crackers, marshmallows, chocolate, and then a little tag. Wanted some more great clients like you. Who do you know? And then thanks a latte. So you could we did pumpkin spice latte kits. I will say that one was a pain in the butt. We did like a pumpkin Keurig, pumpkin coffee Keurig cup, some cinnamon sticks, pumpkin flavored creamer and something else, and then like tied it up. Honestly, if they cost $5 a piece, just go get them a $5 Starbucks gift card and put it with the card. Way easier. Anything that you have to assemble is going to be more time consuming. And I absolutely hate those stupid plastic bags where you're like stuffing stuff in it and then you gotta like tie it and make it look pretty. Drives me nuts. So I now know that that is my limit for pop buys. I cannot do those. But yeah, in fall, there's a lot of really cool options you could do for fall. You could also do like a hot chocolate, little hot chocolate kit. Trying to think what other ones we've done. Has anyone else done fall one that they liked? Or received a fall pop by that they liked?
I did like something for families, like a little kid's trick or treat basket.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, Halloween's coming up. Okay, so then October,
In October.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's funny, like you might think, oh, well, you give the Halloween thing in October. Well, thankfully, Halloween's the last day of October, but by the like you want to give some lead time when you're doing these things because you have to have some grace on yourself too. Like you get busier than you think you're gonna get. Where to see the fall leaves, hiking trails, Halloween party playlist, pumpkin carving designs, ideas, Halloween local activities or fall festivals, fall home trends, home value call, update info call, happy Halloween text, fall maintenance tip. So a referral for someone to take down trees or clean up leaves. Usually October is when hurricane season kind of dies down. So whether you're telling, like you can either send a tree person before hurricane season with the mindset of, hey, before hurricane season, you might want to get some trees taken down. Or after hurricane season, when they're like, oh crap, like I'm shocked that tree actually made it. Or maybe they now have a dead tree from a lightning hit or whatever. You can send them a tree referral or someone to clean up all the leaves in their yard. Social media themes, fall bucket list, fall pics, fall decor trends, prepping the house for winter, which here we don't really have a ton we have to do. But in winter places you would. And then home buyer tips. November. Okay, so I'll just skip to the context for a second. I am a huge believer in doing a gratitude call in Thanksgiving, like around Thanksgiving in November. People appreciate it so much and love it. And it just seems it's an opportunity to be genuine and just say, hey, I'm really thankful for you and here's why. So I highly recommend don't try to make up any other reason to call them other than just to say, hey, I'm super thankful for you. Here's why. Send an email. You can also so I have gratitude in there. There's like 30-day gratitude challenges where it's like something to be grateful for every day. There's also, I've seen it done where you do a video of you saying, hey, I'm so thankful for you. It's been a crazy year, blah, blah, blah. Like you just do a personal message. That always goes over really well too. And then Thanksgiving playlist, Thanksgiving recipes. I did the Ruth's Chris sweet potato casserole recipe and got so many clicks and so many people messaging me about that. Also, it is the best. It is the best sweet potato casserole recipe. Hands down. Local restaurant catering options for Thanksgiving. So people who maybe are by themselves for Thanksgiving or aren't cooking, give them some catering options. Thanksgiving table setting inspiration. Also November, you've got Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday. So you can play into all three of those. So you could do Small Business Saturday features. You could do, now they're like releasing the Black Friday thing earlier and earlier, but like different deals that I found. Here are my favorite Cyber Monday deals that I found. Send social media themes, gratitude, do client shout outs, client features, testimonials, Thanksgiving table inspiration, local restaurant features, Thanksgiving recipes, inspirational quotes, kind of goes along with gratitude. Small Business Saturday, you can feature a different small business each week leading up to it. And yeah, trying to think if there's anything else that I thought of before. Pie party. So that brings me to November pop by. So normally I'd say, because you do it every 3 months and we just did one like in September, but with Christmas, things get crazy. So plan your Q4 pop by to be either end of November or beginning of December. Because if you wait till the end of the year, it is just not going to happen. Things get crazy. So with that, so pie wise, a really cool idea someone did recently was sent something out and said, fill out this order form and come pick up your pie. So it was like a reverse pop by. So they would order their pie, come pick it up, and then you get to talk to them, hang out with them. So these you'll notice, so some of these are not Thanksgiving, or none of them are Thanksgiving related, but like I said, things get crazy. So even if you're giving them something for Christmas, it works. So coffee, the wrapping paper one went over super well. It's wrapping paper with a little thing of Scotch tape, because who doesn't run out of tape or wrapping paper while they're wrapping gifts? And then they're like, oh, not another trip to Target, please. So, and that's just a little something to help you wrap up your holiday season. And then a little thing of champagne if you're super late and need to do New Year's. You can do that. One very weird one and unique one that we did last year, we opened up to our like top 20 an invitation to fry a turkey with us here at the office. I will say I got some really fun comments, even from people who didn't come. So the more creative you are with these, remember, like it might be extra work, it might be, you know, kind of weird and crazy, but it actually is super fun. And we had some great conversations. We were frying turkeys in the Keller Williams parking lot, and nothing blew up. So that was good. I love watching those turkey frying fail videos. That's always really fun. So December. Christmas playlist, local gift guide. That one I've seen go over super well because you can really like go deep on that one. Like you can go to visit local places and say, hey, I'm doing a local business feature. Like what are you seeing being like the best gift that someone can give from your store this season? And then New Year's events. For New Year's events, a lot of times people don't realize, like, because Christmas is crazy, if they don't make a reservation early, they're toast. So that's another thing you could do, like kind of similar to Valentine's Day. It's just trickier because Valentine's Day for sure, they're only going the two of them. But like, even if you buy 2 tickets to a New Year's party and give them away, or have someone like swap out and, you know, give them the tickets or whatever, they might find that super helpful because they book up really fast. Goal setting for the year. If you aren't setting your goals for the next year in December, you're probably not setting them till mid-January, late January or February. So you could start talking about that. Christmas decor tips and Christmas events. Like anyone needs any more Christmas events, but you know, like going to see the lights, we're gonna go see Christmas lights on Gervin. Also, if you give specific tips about those things, it might be very helpful. Like don't go this route, go this route, go at this time so you don't hit traffic. Call or text, wealth advisor call, assessing New Year goals. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. And again, gratitude still applies in December. So if you didn't get the gratitude call in November, call them in December. Social media themes, you could do the local gift guide and tag those local businesses, goals, resolutions. Christmas movie reviews. I have a friend every year who watches those like Netflix Hallmarky, like funny ones they come out with that are just so cheesy. And she does a review of each one. Like, so she'll do like maybe like 2 or 3 a week or whatever. And she'll post it as her story. It is hilarious. Like so much potential content there. Decor tips and tricks, listing in the new year, week between Christmas and New Year's. Okay. This is a really interesting statistic that was shared with me. And I haven't fact checked it, but it makes sense. It was from a reliable source, but the week between Christmas and New Year's is apparently the highest traffic week on Zillow for people looking at homes. And that's because people have a lot of company at their house and they're like, okay, it's getting really small in here. We need to move to a bigger place. Or they were just staying at a relative's house, and they're like, oh, we need to move somewhere like this. So it totally makes sense. That's like a week where people are home, they're maybe not working, and they're looking at houses. So whether that's a listing, getting a listing on the market tactic of like, hey, this is when people are looking, we got to get your house on the market now. That's one way to look at it. Or, you know, sharing that on social media and almost doing like a series of like, here's like 3 awesome houses I found at Zillow. Also weird houses too. Like here are 3 of the most unique like listings I saw on Zillow this week. There are articles on realtor.com in the news section. I don't know if y'all ever look at that. If you go to realtor.com, there's like a news and insights section. And there are some really interesting ones, like they'll feature like, here's the most expensive house on Maui. Yeah. Or here's the 10 most viewed listings of 2022. Very, very interesting and fun things relating to real estate versus just here's market stats. Again, woo, numbers. And that being said, with numbers are good, but don't make it about the numbers, make it about why should that be important to them. The majority of people are not numbers people. In this room, how many people would say I'm a numbers person? Well, also, I mean, realtors typically are all high I's, so we're good. Have y'all taken the DISC personality or heard of it? Okay. So the DISC, if you're familiar with it, so a high I is a person who's like the people person, kind of scattered, sometimes like all over the place, but they are the fun people, right? Majority of agents are high I's. Not very shocking if you know all the people in this office. Now the highest percentage of the population, so 60%, like of how they break up with the population, 60% of people are high S's. Does anyone remember what a high S is? So sensing, I think is the word. But basically they are people who are very trust oriented. They are not confrontational. They're usually not the like extroverts. They're a little bit more reserved. So if you're thinking like that is your typical person you're reaching in all of your marketing, just remember that. Okay, so it's 60% of the population. So odds are they're not going to be numbers people. They're going to be people, but probably more introverted and non-confrontational. So don't post anything controversial on your social media. One more time for the people in the back. Do not post anything controversial on your social media. Okay? It's not worth it. It is so not worth it. Okay. All right. Implementing these things. So we talked about all these ideas. Whew. So how are we going to actually implement them in our business? So these are some resources for you guys. So we'll talk about social media first. Canva. It is the best, okay? So many great templates. It's like $12 a month for premium. Totally worth it. You get a ton of stock photos, tons of fonts to use. Don't try to use the free Canva. Just pay for it. It's so worth it. It's cheap.
Buy it a year's worth, you save like $5 or $6. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's 120 a year. It's cheaper.
Yeah. It's
worth it.
so worth it. You know, that's like give up one Starbucks run a month and you've got it. Google Calendar, time block and schedule things. Is anybody who has a calendar in here that they consistently use?
Oh, I still use my iPhone.
Yeah, that works too. But you have a calendar. Does anybody not have a calendar? Looking at you. Do you have a calendar? Not have a calendar. Okay. So reminders work great until you're trying to plan like 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out. So I fought it for so long. I was like paper calendar all the way. I'm not doing Google. Like I like my planner. I like to write things. Once I transitioned to Google Calendar, I will never go back. Like it is so helpful. Even like, so reminders you can set like weeks out. You can have recurring events. So like with social media, how that would apply. So you can make all your content and schedule a lot of it beforehand, but like reels, you can't do that. But you can save them as drafts and then just set a reminder to post like, so 2 weeks out, post this reel. 4 days out, post this reel. So that's where that would come into play. So Trello you could use also for scheduling and for keeping all of your content. But if you're going to use a scheduler, which I recommend if you want something consistent going out, use the Facebook Meta Business Scheduler. Do not use Hootsuite. Do not use, there's another big one. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, don't use those. Use Meta Business Facebook Scheduler. I know Command allows you to do it too, but here's my thing. Schedulers usually affect your engagement. I have not tested out the Command one, so I don't know for sure. But I do know that Facebook, to me, the only safe, logical option is to use one that they own, because then they're not going to hinder you for using it. So Meta Business all the way, and it's super easy to use. Resources for your mailer. So Canva, again, you can create custom design dimensions So you can create it in Canva and send it through Command. Command has options too for designs. I just want more control than Command will give me with the design process. So that's why I use Canva to design, and then I load it into Command and send it that way. If you're sending over 500 cards, it will get cheaper if you use CoreFact. CoreFact.com, you create a login. And if you're sending over 500, I think it goes down to 80 cents a card versus Command is 89 cents. And then it gets cheaper and cheaper the more you send out. If you're sending over 500, it also might be beneficial to look into Everydoor Direct Mail. Everydoor Direct Mail Pro is that you can send a ton of postcards that are way cheaper, like individually. The con is that you cannot choose the specific houses that you want it to go to. You have to choose mailing routes. So, for example, say you want to send out something to your whole neighborhood. Well, the Everydoor Direct route might include your neighborhood and the one next to you, but it might work out to be the same price as you just sending to your neighborhood. So then it might be better value. So just something to keep in mind. But really that's at least over 250. Like if you're sending under 250, just stick with Command. So then resources for email. Command does allow you to send emails and design them. I find it easier to design in MailChimp, even if you're importing it into Command and then sending. I just think the design options in MailChimp are a little bit easier. And then you can export it and import it into Command to send it. Or if you want to pay for MailChimp, you can send it through MailChimp. Now they just lessened it again. If you have 500 contacts, they will charge you, I think it's like $30 a month, something like that. Flowdesk. This is something for more advanced users. It's not as user-friendly. They have some really creative templates, but the editing is a little bit more, it's less intuitive than MailChimp, in my opinion. It's $38 a month. Some cool features on here. So we use Flowdesk mostly because MailChimp kicked us off because of their spam thing. Not because of us, because of a different client. We weren't spamming anyone, promise. But Flowdesk, $38 a month. They have a really cool feature where you can resend it to unopens, which I like, because then I can just like keep sending it. It's fun, depending on what it is.
Did these let you know if they were delivered to spam instead of inbox?
It doesn't let you know, but it'll say who marked it as spam and who unsubscribed.
Okay.
Part of the reason why an email might be going into a spam inbox or into updates, promotions, like those different tabs. There's a couple things you can do. One, follow the email subject line guidelines. Like, so in MailChimp, it gives you guidelines of like, keep it short, use an emoji, different things like that. Also use the person's full name. So usually you can choose, it's called a merge tag, where when you're sending it, do you want it to address them by their full name or first name? Make sure you select that box, because then that tells people you actually know that person, or tells Gmail, all the techie things, that you know that person. So it's more likely to get into their inbox. But here's the thing is that honestly, it takes time for a lot of people to be able to consistently get into someone's inbox, because it comes with like people marking you as spam, how many people are unsubscribing. It's like your email health score, if that makes sense. So as you're building that up, like your credit score, then you can possibly end up more frequently in inboxes. So, and if someone opens it 1 month, then it's more likely that it'll go in their inbox the next month. So, does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So then resources for content. Facebook has some really great resources for local events. So like you can find local events there's like a News for Jax calendar, UNation, stuff to do in Jax, which is an Instagram, an Instagram account. But Facebook has some super hyper local ones. So I like to look on Facebook. Because Facebook, it's free to create an event, so no one's having to pay to be on a site or whatever. Pinterest. I get tons of stuff from Pinterest. Make sure you limit your time on Pinterest. It's a time suck. You'll be on it like 5 hours later and be like, what happened? Keeping Current Matters, great real estate content. So like numbers, definitions of things, trends, all kinds of good stuff. Realtor.com, that's where I get like my funky house things. So if I want to do like most expensive home in this area, or a celebrity home. They have celebrity home stuff, which I find fun. Different things like that. The city website has some really great resources also, like places to go hiking, restaurants, all that good stuff. Every once in a while too, I'll just Google new restaurants Neptune Beach, new restaurants Jacksonville Beach. And because Google will tell you like recently opened, and it'll have all the restaurants. In Jacksonville, we are so lucky that like there are so many new businesses constantly opening that it's so easy to keep that fresh. Like we do stuff for Amelia Island, Fernandina too. I searched new restaurants in Fernandina or in Amelia Island, nothing for like 2 years. It's crazy. Yeah, it's kind of sad. So just remember, lots of great resources in Jacksonville. Okay, so then how can we help? So we have templates. If you guys need templates that you can purchase on our website, we also offer full leverage and management. We can help you with a la carte posting, mailers. We do postcard creation and mailing them. Emails, we can help with an individual template, which are just like the one-off like thing you want to do. Or we do what I call our full service marketing package, which includes a little bit of everything. So that is also there for you. But I'm not here to like sell what we do. Obviously, like you guys, I encourage you, like I said, lead from revenue. If we can help, we are here for you. But otherwise, we're here to also help you do it yourself. Listing services, email blasts, postcards, flyers, social media posts, listing presentations, buyer presentations, review template. Other things we do, print ads, email signature, business card, profile creation. One recent thing we started offering too, which is kind of hilarious that we started doing this. We did our own content shoot for marketing on social media. So we just have our camera, we had a phone, and we took, in 1 hour, we were able to take 300 pictures. So that will last you a whole quarter at least for your social media. So now we're offering to do that for you guys also. So we have, kind of. So like content shoot, like photos of you on the phone, like in your office, or like working, or like they're not headshots. It's going to be more like lifestyle type of look to it. So we just took an hour in the office. We had like, I do recommend like have an outfit change, you know, because you don't want it to look like you took them all on the same day. So we did like 3 outfit changes, had the whole team involved, and we did, yeah, like 300 pictures in an hour. So, but we also like prepped before we had our spots picked. So, yeah, so we offer that now too. But yeah, so anyway, that's the end, but any questions or thoughts?
So maybe it's not like exactly what we talked about, but as
Yeah.
far as like giveaways online,
Mm-hmm.
is there like a way to get more views and like actual, you know, people participating in the giveaway that you would
Yeah.
recommend?
So there's a lot of different strategies with giveaways. Part of it is make sure you're giving away something of value, you know. Also, if you're collaborating with other accounts that have big followings, that helps you too. So I have a friend who does specifically like social media stuff like that. And when you partner with like almost strategically pick your product based on their Instagram or social media following, because that's going to help you. Because if they have a lot of followers, then that's gonna, you can collaborate. So on Instagram, they have a collaboration feature now. Rather than just tagging them, it shows up in their feed also. So I'd recommend doing that. I'd recommend doing reels, doing multiple posts. Make sure your directions of how to enter and win are very concise. There are some times where I'm reading them and I'm like, okay, wait, I comment on this, I like this, like, wait, what? I don't understand. So just keep it simple, very, very simple. Post it as a reel, wait a little while, share it to your story, and then share it to your story like a couple times. Like if you're doing the contest or giveaway for like a week, do it every day, share that same reel or whatever that original post was. And then when people, so let's say that one of the things is that they have to share that to their story, make sure you're resharing that to your story too. So it can show how many people are entering into that. And yeah, just multiple posts. And then I would do, if you can, do a live, Instagram live drawing for who, or announcement for who the winner is. Because utilizing all of the tools on Instagram helps you with the algorithm. So,
Does it have a draw feature?
I don't know if it has a draw feature.
Or what do
Um,
you use if you want to put all of?
Oh, got it.
Yeah, like.
There's an app, I'm sure, it's been a while since I've done one, but you just plug all the names into it. And then, so it would take a little bit of legwork, but yeah, you would just, do that. Or, I mean, if you're not worried about actually having it be like random drawing, what I would do is go through and look at who has entered and see who has the biggest social media following and pick that person. I hate to say that, but I know businesses do that. I know that they do that because I'm like, hey, I commented 100 times and I didn't win those tickets. Damn it. One of those tacos and tequila festival tickets. But yeah, so you could do it that way if you really wanted to. Otherwise just use like one of the apps that scrambles them all and then picks one. Yeah, depending on how many people have entered, you could even like, say you're doing an open house giveaway, like where they can sign up or like fill out a little sheet and enter it, then you could just pick it out of a hat, you know. And that's something you can do while on the Instagram Live also. So, yeah. Good question.
Then May 2nd is Teacher Appreciation Day.
Ooh, nice.
I've been wanting to do something, so my girls are out of daycare.
Okay.
I've been wanting to plan something for the teachers there.
Mm.
But like, I don't know if I should do like a cookie thing to all of them, or do like a raffle that has like maybe a massage and like something nice to pamper the teacher, and then they can put their names. But I don't know if that's too, you know, just like one's gonna win and I'm not doing it in the rest, or I just
So
don't know.
I would actually say, do something where everyone wins. So do something small
Mhm.
that goes to everyone, like small and cheesy, like we were talking about. But then the drawing would be a great in addition to. Because I do think if you just did the drawing, it'd be like,
Yeah.
kind of a bummer. You know, it almost seems more salesy versus like you do all the things and then you're like, hey, I also want to do a drawing for a massage. But also like, I'd love to give all of you a massage, but I can't do that. So y'all can just enter to win one, you know. But then they still get something to take home. So whether that's you do like a Starbucks card, or you could do, I'm trying to think small things. I mean, Girl Scout cookies have gotten kind of expensive, so I'd watch that.
They keep making the box smaller too.
I haven't noticed that. Yeah, well, they only have one gluten-free one, so now that I'm gluten-free, I'm like, I'm not tempted anymore. You could do like at Peterbrook, they have like usually like a little like piece of chocolate that says thank you on it. Those are really cute, nice. I would do something small and cheesy for everybody and then do that spot thing. Yeah, I love the idea of the spot. Yeah. Any other, yeah,
Sorry.
no, you go.
And then for like the Jaguars, schedule, because every, you know, I think about, yeah, the Jaguars schedule, and then all of a sudden I receive one in the mail, I'm like, forgot.
Yeah.
Do it. So do you know where to print them out? Is there like a place here that you recommend, or is it online? I'm just thinking about.
So you can, I'm sure there are places online where you just pick your team and then you get to customize it with your information. When I've done it, I customize it and make it myself.
You do it.
Yeah, so, which it was funny, I actually saved it because I think I still have it. It took forever to find all of the logos for all of the teams. So I was like, I am never deleting this, which watch me have deleted it. Yep, I did. Jaguars. Oh, well, I didn't spell Jaguars, right? Nope, I must have gotten rid of it. What was this one? Oh, it looks like Canva actually has one because I didn't make that. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, it's an image I uploaded. Just kidding. That's not Canva. But yeah, I made one in Canva, just like a postcard that had all of the games on it, and then I put the little mascot icon logos, whatever they are, next to them. And then yeah, because then you can customize it with whatever you want. You could also even have like places to watch the Jags games, or different tailgating spots, things like that. you can rent a shipping container, like, there's like a whole area outside of the stadium, you can rent a shipping container that's got like TVs, food and all that stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, that's usually what I would do. I think